Good day to everyone attending this monthly webinar that ARSO, the African Organization for Standardization, organizes every month. Today we will be discussing the agroecological and organic agriculture and the food security globally and in particular at our continent, Africa. I am looking forward mainly also to get to know does agroecological means the same as organic agriculture. That's my first looking forward to this webinar. We will be also looking at how the organic agriculture, the agroecological agriculture can respond to food security challenges in Africa. We will also look at different initiatives around the continent and globally for this agroecological sector. And lastly, we will also have a presenter on regulatory framework issues. I am happy that I am not alone hosting this webinar. I am with the ISO president, who is also my boss, because he's the ARSO Council member and the CEO of Egyptian Organization for Standardization, Dr. Khaled Sufi. As an introduction, I would like to request you to say some of your opening remarks, Dr. Khaled. You are still muted. You are still muted. You are muted.
Okay. Thank you very much, my dear brother. I'm really glad to be with all of you today. And good afternoon, distinguished speakers and participants and colleagues from everywhere. On behalf of the Egyptian Organization for Standardization and Quality EOS, I'm delighted to welcome you all to the 67th ARSO webinar session, joined hostly by ARSO and EOS. Actually, today's webinar address a high important and timely theme: agrological and organic agriculture and food security in Africa, with a particular focus on leveraging the potential of agroecological agriculture to enhance food security and examining the role of standardization in supporting this transformation. As Africa continent to face growing challenges related to food security, climate changes, environmental sustainability, and agri-productivity, there is an increasing need to explore innovation and sustainable approaches that can strengthen the resilience of our food system while safeguarding natural resources for future generations. Agrological and organic agriculture offer promising opportunities to improve social health, preventing biodiversity, enhancing climate resilience, and contribute to healthier and safer food system. These benefits require supportive policies, effective regulatory framework, reliable conformity assessment system, and harmonized standards that facilitate trade and build customer confidence. So today's discussion provides an excellent platform for exchanging expertise and sharing best practices and discussing the important role of standard certification and policy trade and policy framework in supporting sustainable agri across the continent. Thank you all for your presence and your time, and I wish you highly productive and insightful discussion. Thank you all. Thank you, Dr. Harmaji.
Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you very much for the opening remarks. Yeah, I am also looking forward on all those initiative and technological exchange that can actually secure our food at the continent. Uh, I will now go to the moderator, Miss Mai Hassan, who is also working for Egyptian Organization for Standardization and Quality as the head of the Arab Africa Affairs Department, charged with communications and managing agreements and memorandum of understanding with international and regional organization. With over 16 years of experience under AOS, beginning 2008, played a pivotal role in facilitating Egypt's participation in international and regional organizations. She has completed many professional courses, including quality infrastructure, and has actually, it's not the first time of moderating such a webinar on standard issues. Through her work, she's the one who is also desk officer in charge of documentation and information network. And Mai holds a Bachelor of Science degree in languages. And she's really conversant also of the WTO TBT issues. Mai Hassan, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Hermogeni, and welcome to the 67 webinar session. Thank you all for joining us today for this important discussion on agroecological and organic agriculture and its role in enhancing the food security. We are pleased to have 5 distinguished panelists with us today, and I encourage you to share your questions in the chat during the presentations, and we will address them during the questions and answer session. Without further ado, I would like to invite our first panelist, Mr. Peter Wayaki, ARSO Conformity Assessment Coordinator, who will deliver a presentation on the evaluation of agroecological organic agriculture and sustainable farming practices and the role and need for effective standardization as a key strategy for addressing key regulatory barriers in the sector. Mr. Peter Wayaki is a quality infrastructure expert with experience in standardization, conformity assessment, and regulatory strategies. He has successfully managed a wide range of projects and about renewable energy, energy efficiency, and sustainable development. Mr. Peter is committed to delivering practical solutions, building strong stakeholders partnerships, and supporting organizational growth through quality and innovation. Mr. Peter Wayaki, welcome, and the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mai. Thank you, Secretary General, as well. Just to confirm, am I audible enough?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you, Mai. Shared my screen. Just confirm that it is visible.
Yes, we can see your presentation now.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank
you. Mine will be to take us through the evolution of agroecological and organic agriculture in Africa, mainly looking at it from a standardization lens, where we look at standardization as a key strategy for overcoming any regulatory barriers that we may have to unlock in the sustainable trade of organic products altogether. Just as a brief background, as we well know that organic agriculture and agroecology has had a huge ancestral practice, but over time there has been an advancement towards a formalized system that is trackable, that is enhanceable, and monitored. because throughout the organic by default has been mainly for smallholders system, and agroecological systems have been driven by markets to have something that is traceable, mainly because of the premium export access that we have within other areas. Throughout time, we have had the development of regional standards, such as the organic standards, which I'll be talking to in a later stage, as well as having the aspects of agroecological era that have been comprehensively covered through the Comprehensive Africa Agricultural Development Program, CADAP. So basically, we have a big potential, but we have a very thin footprint across the continent. Just to give you some numbers, you will see that 2.8 million hectares of African arable land is certified organic farmland. But from this is just a representation of only 0.2% of what is Africa's potential. And from this 2.8 million hectares, you can see that we have 687,000 organic products produced as of 2024. And much of this land is focused in or concentrated in 5 main countries. This is according to the World of Organic Agriculture 2025-2026 report that highlights that Uganda has the highest organic certified land, with Burkina Faso, Ethiopia, and Togo following all together. But these numbers give a clear indication that mainly the growth of organic agriculture is export-led, and is also very much fragile in terms of the regulatory environment that we have across the continent and across the world. This is evident through the new EU organic agriculture regulations, as well as the European Union deforestation regulations, which have been published earlier in 2024. But there has also been converging pressures that have made this aspect or the topic of organic and agroecological very critical at the moment. And this is mainly to emphasize the issue on climate and soil stress that has been going through the intensive farming that we have. But now we are moving towards a low input system, which is a necessity. We're also having the issue of the AfCFTA opportunity, the African Continental Free Trade Area opportunity, which opens up a single market of over 1.5 billion people in the continent. Additionally, there's the aspect of the premium aspect that is attached to organic products. Premium demand that leads to an increased aspect of price of the product. Then there's the food security and job security that is attributed to organic agriculture, where sustainable intensification supports smallholder incomes, and especially focusing on women and youth. As I mentioned earlier, there is also an increased pressure that is coming from the policy aspect of it, where the Comprehensive Africa Agricultural Development Program, Kampala Declaration of 2026 to 2035, indicates that there is a need to put agroecological and sustainability at the center of Africa's agriculture system, with a target of around $100 billion mobilization and an increase of 45% in agri-food output. So all this have led to one thing, that standardization is the key that unlocks this potential. And why standardization? Mainly because it will cut technical barriers, because once we have one harmonized reference, it replaces all the other patchwork that we have of conflicting national standards and regulations. It also enables the aspect of mutual recognition, where one test, one certificate is accepted everywhere. And this is the strong basis of the African Continental Free Trade Area. We also have the aspect of building trust and traceability, because without these standards, without having a harmonized definition, then it becomes inevitable or hard to have a credible mark that gives consumers and regulators confidence in the claim. Finally, it also opens market access, because we align the African produce with the demands of the premium regional and global buyers. So that said and done, This brings me to the African Organization for Standardization, which is an intergovernmental African body that is mandated to develop and harmonize African standards as well as conformity assessment procedures. In addition to developing unique African standards, there are also adoptions of the ISO, IC, and Codex standards. These standards are developed through ARSO's technical committees, which are over 100 at the moment. But the carrier of implementation for these standards is the ARSO Conformity Assessment Program, in which we have the EcoMark Africa, which is the continental eco label for sustainably produced goods. You also have the ARSO Quality Mark, which is a mark that is awarded to products that have conformed to the African standards, be it unique or adopted African standards. And it can also be awarded together with the national quality mark, where we have the aspect of dual marking being integrated into the product. We also have an accommodation for self-declaration of conformity. This is mainly just to help enterprises to be aware of the procedure of certification before they can get into certification altogether. At the ARSO point of view, the continental point of view, we have developed a set of toolkits in terms of standards that address the issue of organic and agroecological altogether. One of which we have the ARS 751, which was published in 2013, that addresses organic products as a code of practice. This is a major standard that looks at key areas of production within the organic sector, be it plant and animal husbandry, to beekeeping, to wild collection and processing and labeling all together. We also have a set of standards that have been published in addressing the EUDR, where we have, as you can see on the far right, several standards that enable us to respond accordingly to the EUDR requirements. Further to that, we have a technical committee, TC83, that deals with organic products. And this is in the pipeline of publication for those who would be interested in using the standards or utilizing the standards for organic products certification. And the kind of toolkit that we have here is product-based, that is product-specific, and it defines the requirements within the organic and agroecological procedures of producing either honey, dairy production, livestock, potatoes, among others. This also has been driven mainly because of the regulatory barriers that we have. The regulatory barriers that we have include fragmented standards, where we have no single widely adopted Pan-African organic standard. And additionally, we are looking at the issue of the cost of certification, where third-party audits have been proven to be very costly. And we also have a fairly thin accreditation base, where we don't have many of the certification bodies providing facilities for certification in this space. Additionally, we also have the shifting import rules, where we have, e.g., the new European Union organic regulations, the new EUDR. And from this, we have also been able to conduct a benchmarking study to look at how our African standards perform vis-a-vis other standards. And the QR code there will direct you to the study and the publication we did in collaboration with the International Institute of Sustainable Development. And this is just to ensure that our standards are up to par to address most of these issues. But also, in addition to ensuring that our standards address the various issues that are pertinent to the globe, we have also looked at issues to do with the high certification costs. We have issues, or we encourage group certification. We also have aspects to do with self-declaration of conformity, which are preamble pathways towards certification. We also have to enhance our accreditation capacity as a continent. We have had MOUs signed with the various accreditation bodies in the continent to help us increase the base of certification bodies and conformity assessment bodies that are available to the consumers of these services. Finally, we have also ensured that our African standards have a strong traceability and data frameworks, which are positioning African produce to satisfy the EUDR due diligence requirements. So as key takeaways and the way forward from this presentation, I'd like to highlight that uh, once we have adopted and embraced the harmonized African standards, then we are able to increase and build the capacity across the continent through accreditation support, through SME awareness, through digital and traceability in our certification system. Additionally, we also have we have to ensure that we align the market rules, where we use the African standards as a bridge to meet the certification of the EUDR and global compliance requirements on African terms. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vita, for the insightful presentation. And before you leave the floor, I want to ask you two questions. The first one is, which is best for Africa? Agroecological organic agriculture vis-a-vis conventional agriculture in the midst of the challenge to address the food security challenge and the biodiversity and the climate crisis mitigation needs under the 2015 UN SDGs 2030. And the second one is you already gave given the ARSO initiatives. So why is standardization and certification remain key to harnessing the potential? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mai, for the two questions. One is when it comes to which is better than the other, I believe that a hybrid or a combined approach where we have one being phased out together with one being enhanced. In this case, phasing out the intensive farming and as well as encouraging more of the agroecological and organic agriculture farming would be a better approach in this case, mainly because we have to strike a balance in terms of the availability of food to cater for the increasing population that we have within the continent. When it comes to the role of the standards, mainly this is key to unlocking one, the market that we have across the continent through intra-African trade, as well as uh, uh, accessing the premium market that we have beyond the African borders. So standardization will create a system that is one, traceable, monitorable, as well as verifiable. Having this system will be able to unlock those potentials that we have within the continent through the conformity assessment activities, be it certification, be it testing, or inspection altogether. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vita. This was a very insightful presentations and information. And now we will move to our next panelist. It's my pleasure to welcome the Professor Dr. Maisa Lotfi Abdelmenaim, and she will give a presentation on addressing the food security challenges in Africa, leveraging the potentials of agroecological organic agriculture in Africa through effective government agriculture policies and the corresponding gains from implementing harmonized agricultural standards, the Egypt initiatives. Professor Dr. Maisa is a professor at Egypt's Agricultural Research Center and a specialist in organic and sustainable agriculture. Her work focuses on reducing the use of chemical pesticides, improving food safety, and promoting environmentally friendly farming practices. She has also contributed to the development of Egypt's organic agriculture policies and regulations and continues to support the advancement of organic farming in line with international standards. Professor Dr. Maisa holds a master's degree and a PhD in biological control. Welcome, Dr. Maisa. Dr. Maisa?
Good morning. Thank you for the introduction for me. I am very happy to contribute in this webinar, and I wish to successful and achieve all succeed in this webinar.
Thank you.
I will start the presentation now.
Could you please share your... Yes? Could you please share your presentation with us?
Yes. Can screen share the screen? Miss Maya?
Yes.
Can you screen share the screen?
Okay, I will have Mr. Philip.
Yes, the Central Secretariat is sharing it shortly, just in a minute.
Okay.
Thank you.
I can start?
Just wait to share your screen.
Oh,
Just shortly, it will be.
No. Yes. Okay.
Yes, we can see your
Screen
Yes.
is shared?
Yes. You may start, please.
Okay. Today I will show the status of the organic agriculture in Egypt and the some policy apply in Egypt. In the first, organic agriculture role player in Egypt represent in Ministry of Agriculture and Agriculture Research Center, Egyptian Organization for Standardization and Quality (EOS), control and inspection bodies, private sector including processor, producer, exporter, and trades, in addition to national non-governmental organizations. Objective organic production or eco-agriculture, contributing to protection the environment and the climate, maintaining the long-term fertility of soil. This is very, very important, contributing to a high level of biodiversity, in addition to contributing to a non-toxic environment, contributing to high animal welfare standard and particular to meeting the species-specific behavioral needs of animals, encouraging short distribution channel and local production in the various areas, encouraging the preservation of rare and native breeds in danger of extinction, contributing to the development of the supply of plant organic of plant genetic materials adapted to specific needs and objective of organic agriculture. In addition to contributing to high level of biodiversity, particularly by using diverse plant genetic materials, such as organic heterogeneous materials and organic varieties suitable for organic production. Fostering the development of organic plant breeding activities in order to contribute to favorable economic perspective of the organic sector. Organic production is a sustainable management system that is based on the following general principles. General principles of organic production, including respect for nature's system and cycles, and the sustainment and improve the state of the soil, the water, and the air, of the health of the plant and animal, and of the balance between them. The preservation of natural landscape elements such as natural heritage sites as Valley Rayyan and Siwa Oasis in Egypt. The responsible use of energy and natural resources such as water, soil, organic matter, and air. The production of wide variety of high quality food and other agriculture and aquaculture products that respond to consumers' demand for goods that are produced by the use of processes that very safe and don't harm the environmental, human health, plant health, or animal health and welfare altogether. Ensuring that integrity of organic production at all stages of the production, processing, and distribution of food and feed. The appropriate design and management of biological process based on ecological system and using natural resources which are internal to the management system using specific methods. These methods including use living organisms and mechanical production methods. And also practice soil-related crop cultivation and land-related livestock production, or practice aquaculture, which complies with the principle of the sustainable exploitation of aquatic resources. Exclude the use GMOs, both of the product produced from GMOs and products produced by GMOs, other than veterinary medicinal products as vaccination, are based on risk assessment and the use of precautionary measures and preventive measures where appropriate. The restriction of the use of external inputs is very important point. This restriction of the use of external inputs, where external inputs are required specific criteria or the appropriate management practice and method refer to in point previous point if don't exist. The external input shall be limited to input from this some criteria. The input from organic production in the case of plant reproductive material. Priority shall be given to varieties selected for their ability to meet the specific need and natural or naturally driven substances and low solubility of mineral fertilizers. The adaptation of the production process where necessary and within framework of this regulation to take account of the sanitary status, regional differences in the ecological balance, climatic and local condition, stages of the development and specific husbandry practice. The exclusion from the all organic food chain of animal cloning, this prohibited, of rearing artificially induced polyploid animals, and of ionizing radiation, the observance of the high level of animal welfare, respecting species specific needs. EOS and UNIDO collaboration to prepare set standard of organic inputs, because the use of the organic inputs in organic farm is very strict and has a specific criteria. So EOS and UNIDO collaboration to prepare this standardization. This standard name including organic fertilizer specification, compost specification, vermicompost, soil improver biochar, biofertilizers, soil improvers vinasse, fertilizers and soil conditioners chitosan, organic fertilizers and soil improver water extraction, and eco-label criteria for organic fertilizer and soil improver. I want to show some fact and figures. Organic agriculture area in Egypt, about 116 hectare. This area has represent 4.5% of the world organic farming area of vegetables. Egypt globally ranked 47th in terms of area among 172 countries. The 10 countries with the largest organic area in Africa, the graph is show Tunisia, Tanzania, Uganda, Ethiopia, Kenya, Sudan, Egypt, Sierra Leone, Madagascar, and Congo. This is the 10 countries with the largest organic in Africa, according to FIBL survey in 2019. Status of the regulation in Egypt. Now the Egypt has a law number 12 in 2022 was adopted in 22. To implement this organic policy, we make executive regulation and publish it in the official journal by Ministry Decree number 169 in August in 2021. Some facts in organic agriculture in Egypt about the area and the farm. There are about 970 organic farm in area. Farms are small and medium size. The medium size between 5 to 10 hectare. Few from larger than 200 to 500 hectare. Industrial crop including all oil seeds, cotton, and aromatic and medicinal plant, vegetables, olives, grapes, and peanuts. Share of Egypt in total world agriculture area. The organic agriculture area about 160,000 hectare represent about 2.9% of total world cultivated area. This according to FIBL and IFOAM 2026. The operator in Egypt, organic producers and other operator types by country in 2024. Organic producers, there are about 970 organic farms registered and producing organic products. Organic processors, about 242 companies registered currently. Organic exporter, all the registered companies are exporters, about 242. The organic importer, no sufficient and available information about this point in organic importer sector in Egypt. This according also FIBL and IFOAM Organic International 2026. The main Egyptian organic production market exports to Europe drive organic production in Egypt. The major exported crop are herbs as chamomile, coriander, dill, lemongrass, hibiscus, marjoram, parsley, peppermint, and spearmint. Vegetables as potatoes, onion, garlic, green beans, pepper, and peas tomato, and strawberries, and fruits as citrus, grapes, and olives. The domestic market for organic product in Egypt, domestic sales of organic products are concentrated around the urban area of Cairo and Alexandria. 60 to 70% of consumers for foreign. Many pharmacies in Egypt sell organic medicinal and aromatic plants. Many of supermarket chain have organic food section. What is the organic agriculture need in Egypt, or what's the challenge of the organic agriculture? Public and the private sectors need increase the support and apply the Egyptian organic law must be applied in all aspects to achieve the good result from this regulation. Availability of fund for the sake of organic data collection, in addition to make the different training course to increase the awareness to all the community in the organic agriculture. Accurate information will be available for organic roadmap and decision making. Organic agriculture strengths, or the point strengths of organic agriculture in Egypt, the foundation of national organic regulation, which regulate organic agriculture operations. High demand on organic products in the markets, positive effect in human health and environment, high demand on safety food, positive effect on socio-economic for both producers and exporter, maintain and enhance soil fertility and biological activity, and follow biodiversity as all. Conserve and enhance biodiversity, reducing using the synthetic chemicals, fertilizers, and pesticides. Some opportunities in Egypt: increasing of global interest in the importance of organic agriculture gives great opportunity to the Egyptian organic production to reach the global markets. Low price of Egyptian organic products if compared with global price. The growing of demand on growing products as a result of the increasing of the consumers' awareness. The application of free trade among different countries will accelerate the turnover of organic product sale, effective communication through the services of various media. So by this way, we try to increase the area of the organic land in Egypt and all the Africa. And thank you for your listening and attention and your time.
Thank you very much, Dr. Maisa, for your valuable presentation. And before we move to our next panelist, I would like to ask you one question. Are there key government agriculture and standardization policies put in place to promote agroecological organic agriculture, and that are also aligned to comprehensive Africa Agriculture Development Program strategy and the action plan for 2026 to 2035, aimed at building strong and resilient Africa's agri-food systems on the continent for agriculture growth, transformation, and improved livelihood across the continent? I know it's a long question, but I'm sure you will give us the answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Already in Egypt, the Ministry of Agriculture and Agriculture Research Center is the place of the responsible for apply these regulations and traceability all the aspects of the production of the agriculture of organic agriculture. And we can collaboration with other places as EOS, for example, We make the different standards for inputs to guarantee to use this external input in organic farm. We can make the union in Africa collect all the countries and make the unique regulation is this regulation is harmonized and comply with European regulation. This point it make the easy to import and export and movement the exportation between all countries from Africa to European and to America. And we can make do different innovation or different sectors to make some projects to increase the awareness of the important of organic agriculture and eco agriculture in all the Africa in different country in north and medium and south to make one union in Africa to apply these regulations.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Dr. Marisa. Thank you very much for that insightful presentation, which is an example to many other African countries for benchmarking. And now we will move to our next panelist, Ms. Mary Orongo. She will give a presentation on the agroecological organic agriculture initiatives in Africa with a specific reference to the East Africa Bloom initiatives and the various government policies in the East Africa region, opportunities and the challenges. Ms. Marie is a policy and advocacy specialist with over 14 years of experience in sustainable development, climate resilience, agroecological and food system transformation across Kenya and Africa. As the policy and advocacy coordinator at Belong Kenya, she has contributed to key policy frameworks, including Kenya's National Agroforestry Strategy and National Agroecology Strategy 2024 to 2033, while leading multi-stakeholder initiatives that promote sustainable food systems, climate resilience, and support for small holder farmers. Ms. Mary, thank you for joining us today, and the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this opportunity to share. I'll ask the Secretariat to put my presentation up, please. As the Secretariat puts the presentation up, I can be sharing about the PELAM Association. PELAM is an abbreviation of Participatory Ecological Land Use Management. It is an African organization in 14 countries in Africa, mainly in Eastern and Southern Africa. And the regional secretariat is at Kampala, Uganda. But myself, I am working with PELAM, the Kenyan chapter. And today I'll share about the agroecological and organic agriculture initiatives in Africa with specific reference to the East Africa, and I'll also share PELAM Kenya initiative and PELAM Association as large, and various government policies in East African region, as well as the opportunities and challenges in the implementation. Next slide. So I have shared a brief about the PELAM, but specifically on PELAM Kenya. We are a network of civil society organizations, 68 in numbers, working in the whole country of Kenya, in the 47 counties of Kenya. And our main mission is to promote agroecological principles and practices, and our vision to see an empowered, prosperous, and healthy resilient community, not only in Kenya, but also in Africa. Can move to next. So just to share a brief of the PELAM countries chapters initiatives, specifically on agroecology. The focus is more on policy and advocacy. This is mainly on championing national and counties agroecological policies and strategies, which in Kenya, PELAM Kenya has been part of formulation of the agroecology strategy. In Tanzania, PELAM Tanzania has also taken a great role, as well as in Uganda. We have also taken key capacity strengthening of farmers. This in terms of training farmers on agroecological practices, organizing knowledge exchanges where farmers can learn from each other, and also working together with the public or government extension staff by training them to disseminate agroecological practices to the farmers whom we are all targeting. Additionally, we have been working with partners in establishment of agroecology markets. This through mainly promotion of the participatory guarantee system, as well as supporting establishment of local markets or territorial markets. As part of research and evidence generation, which supports how agroecology is working and showing the evidence that yes, agroecology can work and yes, agroecology can feed Africa. We have collaborated with a research institution to carry out documentation on the impact of agroecology and sharing this not only to the farmers, but to supporting the policy formulation. Additionally, we are working closely with youth and women in the agroecology sector. This by promoting leadership in agroecology sector, promoting entrepreneurship aspect. In Africa, we as PELAM, we have different initiatives in not just in East Africa, but in the whole of the Africa region. We have an initiative on Africa Women Leaders in Agroecology. These mentorship program for women who are in agroecology sector. We also have Youth in Agroecology Learning and Tracking in Africa, a youth program that's more on business tracking, incubation program to support agroecological innovation. We are also part of the Ecological Organic Agriculture Initiative under the African Union that mainly promote ecological and organic farming in Africa, as well as the Knowledge Hub for Organic and Agroecology in Africa. Those are just among the few initiatives that we are part of. Next. Please move to the next slide. In East Africa, Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda, there has been milestones that have been made by the government to support agroecology initiative within the region. In Kenya, the government of Kenya has developed a national agroecology strategy for food system transformation 2024 to 2023, which is currently at the implementation stage. Kenya also has a national agroforestry strategy, which also is at implementation. And as part of domestication of the national agroecology strategy, subnational levels are also coming up with agroecology policies, strategies, and bills as part of implementation of the national agroecology strategy. For instance, we have subnationals like Vihiga, Murang'a, Makueni. These are counties in Kenya who have already taken up the initiative, and they already have policies that are guiding implementation of agroecology based on the context. In Uganda has a national organic agriculture policy that is of 2019, and currently the national agroecology strategy, it is in very advanced stage in which they'll be launching anytime soon. So In Tanzania, Tanzania has a national ecological organic agriculture strategy as well as national agriculture policy. So you can see in the 3 counties, there are already some momentums that have been created in development of agroecology related policies or strategy. But also to mention at the East African, at the EAC level, EAC has an agriculture and rural development policy for East African community, and currently the East Africa Legislative Assembly is developing an agroecology bill, which also it is an advanced stage. But one common thing among all these strategies and policies that are being developed in the region, they are all aiming at ensuring that the region is food secure, and not just being food secure, but the aspect of nutrition and production of safe food is also coming out very strongly in these policies. Also, the aspect of agrobiodiversity conservation, building the resilience of community against the impact of climate change, as well as addressing soil infertility issues. Not forgetting the aspect of gender inclusion is something that is being geared to within all these policies that have been developed within the region. Next slide. So in East Africa, there are some opportunities that exist which can accelerate the adoption of agroecology and organic agriculture within the region. One is the increased policy momentum within the region. Most of the countries are also developing agroecology policies or the bills, and these shows that there is potential in agroecology in addressing the regional need. Climate change is a key challenge that communities and farmers are facing, and agroecology offers a practical solution that can enhance the resilience and ecosystem restoration within the region. There has also been increased consumer demand for healthy, safe food in the region, and also not forgetting the aspect of non-communicable diseases, which has increased in the region, and therefore the demand for safe and healthy food has as well increased. And there is also international growing momentum on recognizing agroecology at international level, and there has been increasing donor will to invest in sustainable food systems. So this creates that opportunity that agroecology can be scaled up and deep within the region. Next slide. However, there are still some challenges that are being experienced within the region. Despite having strategies and policies, there is still low political priority. This has been developed more by the perception that agroecology is low tech, cannot be scaled up, or seeing agroecology like it's only applicable in small scale. However, that is not the case. Agroecology is applicable in large scale. Agroecology has, we have evidence that it is scalable in all levels, and therefore there is need to invest more and commit public and private budget to scaling up agroecology. There is still limited research and extension gaps within the agroecology sector, and there is need to increase direct research to support the various practices that exist in agroecology. And looking at the government value chain, you find in government they have these flagship project, prioritized value chains, which are more focused on export, and they don't focus more on the diversification aspect where agroecology systems can be integrated. And in terms of markets, there is still weak market infrastructure for agroecological products. The aspect of certification is still limited, and traceability system is still limited, which needs to be strengthened. Additionally, there is competing agriculture narrative where people will ask, can agroecology feed Africa? Can agroecology feed the world? And yes, agroecology can feed the world, can feed Africa. We just need to invest more in the practices and approaches, and also strengthen smallholder farmers' adoption of agroecology. An aspect of finances, there is low investment on agroecological enterprises, limited access to affordable finances for farmers, which need to be addressed in order to amplify agroecology within the region. Next slide. So thank you very much. That's what I had to say for now. And I look forward to your questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much for highlighting the ongoing activities and the policies, including the Kenya, the Agriculture Policy 2021 that seeks to promote agroecology farming practices for crops, livestock, and fisheries. And also for the National Agroecological Strategy for Food System Transformation 2022, 2020, 2024 to 2033. And allow me to ask you one question. Is Africa therefore ready for agroecology? What is needs to be done further? You have highlighted the need for more political commitment and needs for more research. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Africa is ready for agroecology. With the challenges that Africa is experiencing currently, from food insecurity, climate change, declining soil fertility, the high dependency of synthetic fertilizers, biodiversity loss, there is need to address these challenges that we are currently facing in Africa. And agroecology offers a ready solution to address the challenges. And to address these challenges, beyond having enabling policy environment, there is need to implement the policies, the strategies that we are having. Because one of the challenges that we have within the region is that we have very good policies, strategies, even plans are in place. However, when it comes to implementation, that's where we are having the gap. So there is need to implement policies, the strategies, and the plans that we have. Also, we need to enhance the accessibility of quality food, nutritious food for all. This by enhancing the traceability aspect, affordability of this particular food. And when it comes to the aspect of soil fertility, which is declining within the region, there is need for more investment in bio inputs. This can be biofertilizer, biopesticides, and also strengthening the local innovations that we have at the farmer levels. And this can as well create job opportunity for the young people within the region. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we have one question in the chat box for you. Is this the possibility of having an antenna of Belum in West Africa and in the practical in Niger? What are the steps?
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
The possibility of having an antenna of Belum in West Africa and in practical in Niger. What are the steps?
Okay, that is one of the mandate of the Pelham Regional Office to expand the Pelham chapters in the Western Africa, Northern Africa, which is ongoing. But the key step is first identifying who are the partners within the region who can host and establish Pelham chapter within those countries. So I know there are some initiatives that are ongoing in Ghana, I think also Tunisia, but I can follow up with the regional office and share feedback on this. Yeah. Back to you.
Mai, are you there?
I'm very sorry, I was muted. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your answers and for the insightful presentation. And now we will go to our next panelist, Mr. Eustace Kayari, CEO Kenya Organic Agriculture Network, who will take us through the addressing the regulatory framework bottlenecks and the challenges for promoting production and the trade for the agroecological organic agriculture, the African Standardization initiatives with reference to the East Africa Organic Products Standard and the Kilimo High Mark Initiative. Mr. Eustace Kayari is an organic agroecology expert with over 20 years of experience in project development, coordination, and management across Kenya and the East Africa region. He was a member of the task force that developed East Africa Organic Product Standards. He has played a key role in shaping national and county policies on agroecology and organic agriculture and serves on several regional and national committees. Mr. Kayari holds an MSc in agribusiness management and trade from Kenyatta University and a BSc in natural resources management, complemented by various professional certifications. Welcome, Mr. Eustace.
Thank you very much, and hello everyone. I'm going to talk about the East Africa Organic Product Standard, and I don't know whether you can see my screen. Can you see it?
No, not yet.
Yes, you can see it. It's ready there.
Oh, you can see it.
Yes, it can be seen. Just put it on a presentation mode.
Thank you. Yeah, my name is Kerry Eustace. I work with Kenya Organic Agriculture Network, which is a network space in Kenya. And we are part of the development and also implementation of the East Africa Organic Product Standard and also the Kilimo High mark, which I'm going to talk about today. And maybe to put it into some context is that the standard was developed to facilitate regional trade on organic products, and there was need to harmonize requirements on organic standards. At the time when the standard was being developed, different countries had their own national standards. The feeling that we needed to bring together these standards to develop a regional standard. The East Africa Organic Product Standard was based on the EU IFORM standards and the Codex guidelines, but then contextualized to fit the East African context. And it has, we'll talk about the scope. It's good to mention at this point that it's the second regional organic standards after the European Union regulation. And the expectation is that every country that joins the East African community is required to ratify or to transport to their national standards. In terms of use and the scope of the standard, it's a voluntary standard. It's also a process standard. It's not a product standard. Product standard is the one that has product specifications. The EOPS guides the process of growing from the time farmers plant, how they manage their pests, how they process, to the point of how they deliver the products at the marketplace. It's that process that the East Africa Organic Product Standard guides. And it's intended for use in the organic production and trade within the East African region. And in terms of use, it can be used for self-assessment. That means a farmer can self-assess based on the requirements of the standards. It's also used for third-party certification. This is where third-party companies or certification companies certify farmers. It's also used for participatory guarantee system approval processes. And the standards provide, the East Africa Organic Product Standard provides the platform for Kilimo Hai mark, which is the one on the right. In terms of the scope, it covers crop production, animal husbandry. It has a component of sustainable fisheries or aquaculture. It covers beekeeping, wild harvesting, processing, and it also has a list of allowed organic inputs, particularly the ones that are allowed in processing. It also has a component of labeling. However, it does not cover procedures for verification, such as it doesn't guide or provide some guidance on inspections or certification of products. So to address this gap, the different countries came together and developed some tools for implementation or to help in the implementation of the standard. So they are commonly agreed application forms, certification guidelines, the register of documents or the documents that are required to in the implementation of the standard. There are also commonly agreed inspection forms, non-compliance reports, list of other equivalent standards, and joint inspection protocols. The whole idea, again, is to ensure that whatever is done in all the countries is similar, to avoid a situation where country A uses different forms or has different joint inspection protocols. We needed to harmonize how the standard is implemented. The standard is also used as a participatory guarantee system. And in this, there are also unified processes in terms of the applications, the assessment, the certificates, and also the criteria for approval of the PGS. And once you comply with the East Africa Organic Product Standard, then you're allowed to use the East African Organic Mark, in this case, the Kilimo Hai mark. And the Kilimo Hai mark also has common guidelines for the use of the mark, how it is managed, how it's registered, and there is a joint management committee at East African level that coordinates the implementation of the mark. So again, it's to ensure that the way the mark is administered, the way the standard is used, that it's all harmonized across the various East African countries. So in terms of opportunities, we have seen both the standard and the mark provide opportunities for increasing competitiveness and market reach for products across East Africa. To farmers, we have seen the use of Kilimo Hai. Farmers are able to differentiate their products at the marketplace and therefore increase their incomes. There's a lot of demand, as Mary talked about, on organic products, and this provides incentives for wider adoption of organic. However, we also have some challenges. I'll talk about three. One is in terms of the implementation. The different countries, East African countries, are at different implementation levels. For example, it's Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania. I think they are at the forefront. But if you look at other countries, especially the ones that are recently joined the community, in terms of the implementation of the standard and mark, they are a bit low. And the other issue constraint is about consumer demand, which, well, it's there, but there's a lot that needs to be done to increase the demand and once we increase the demand, it will pull production. And the other issue is about the cross-border trade, across countries on organic products is still low. and there are also challenges around certification. I want to end at that and invite questions regarding the mark and the CLIMO-HI. The East African Organic Product Standard. Thank you very much, and back to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Eustace, for the presentation and highlights on the East Africa Organic Standards and CLIMO-HI mark. And I would like to ask you a questions on how are the East African Organic Product Standard and the CLIMO-HI mark initiatives beneficial to the sector, traders, certification bodies, and cross-border trade, and what more needs to be done? And also, I need your opinion on the harmonization of one African standards by ARSO for all regions.
Yeah, thank you. The East African Organic Product Standard and the CLIMO-HI mark have been beneficial to the sector in that they have facilitated harmonization of standards within the East African region and the EAC. It's about increasing credibility now that we have a common standard, a common mark, and you can buy, products, organic products. You want need to look for the CLIMO-HI mark and promote trust among buyers. It has also strengthened regional organic markets. I know we are importing some products from Tanzania, for example, and Uganda. Benefits to traders. It provides recognizable regional organic label. So the need to explain the different multiple certification scheme that by seeing the CLIMO-HI label, you are able to guarantee that the product is organic. And to certification bodies, I think that they have also benefited because they now have a common reference framework for certification activities and also a common way of doing things in terms of certification processes. My opinion in terms of ARSO and having a common African, harmonizing Africa's standards, I think it's a great move that should be embraced because then you ensure that all the countries move at the same level. And if we can have even one mark for Africa for organic products, then that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now we will move to our next panelist, and he is Professor Benjamin Opi. And he will take us through the organic world, the global evaluation of agroecological organic agriculture, the status, opportunities, the challenges, and the government policies, and the role of the standardization bodies and the private sector. Professor Benjamin is a professor in the Department of Crop and Soil Science at the National Open University of Nigeria and a leading expert in organic agriculture, biotechnology, and plant breeding. He is currently serves as the convener of the Working Group 2 on Organic Agriculture under the ARSO TC 83 and has played an important role in advancing organic agriculture standards and initiatives across Africa. He has extensive experience in research, academia, and international scientific collaboration, having worked with several leading institutions in Africa and Japan. We are honored to have him with us today to share his experience and perspectives. So, Professor Opi, the floor is yours.
Hello, thank you very much. I was looking forward to being unmuted, so now I've been unmuted. And then could you please permit me to share my screen also?
Please share this.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you can all hear me, dear colleagues. Please, can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello?
we can. Hello, yes,
Please,
we
can
can
you all
hear
hear
you.
me? Oh, thank you
Yes,
very much, Mai, the moderator and the general secretary. Well,
thank you.
I am to share my thoughts with you on the organic world, the global evolution of agroecology, organic agriculture, the status, opportunities, and then the challenges. Please, because of sometimes when this video is on, the bandwidth may be a problem. So let me turn it off. And then, as I've already been introduced, I am Benjamin Ubi, the convener of the Technical Committee 83, number 2, on the organic agriculture. First is setting the scene. We need to look at the context for why all this is important for us, and which is food security, and the case for agroecological agriculture. Considering that the global population is expected to rise by over 50%, that is the global food demand is expected to rise by over 50% by the year 2050. And this is beginning from 2013, 2015, 13, when that projection was done by the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations. And then the population of Africa also is expected to increase by 55% of the global growth. And it's projected to be at 2 billion, to find that 2 billion. Just hold on, please. Let me put on my pointer options. Okay. Well, it's not going. And then of that, the arable land that is unused in Africa is about 65% of the world share of this arable land. And therefore, we need to utilize this arable land that is in Africa in a sustainable manner, what is called for sustainable food production. That now brings us to agroecological agriculture / organic agriculture. The organic world. What sets agroecology or organic agriculture separate from others? According to the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations, agroecology is an integrated approach that applies ecological and social principles to food and agricultural systems. Conventional agriculture relies on synthetic fertilizers and then the agrochemicals. There are chemicals such as the pesticides and the herbicides. And from the FAO definition, also GMOs to maximize short-term yields. Whereas organic agriculture prohibits these inputs by standards, relying instead on natural processes such as crop rotation, composting, biocontrol measures to safeguard soil, water, and human health. Please mark this: to safeguard soil, water, and human health. And in this presentation too, I want to also let you know my mind actually referring to what is referred to as, pertaining to what is referred to as organic agriculture. I do not agree as a person that genetically modified organisms should define what we know as organic versus inorganic labels, because genetically modified crops can also be produced organically. However, this is an issue for another day. This is a debate for another day, but I have discussed this in several fora, including the working group where we work, about putting these GMOs as an element of definition for organic agriculture, because you may produce a product through genetic engineering, and yet that product can be taken through the organic agricultural process. But like I said, please, this should be a discussion or a debate for another day, not for today's presentation. The organic agriculture addresses all four four dimensions of food security, both availability and then access, utilization, stability. In terms of availability, we look at diversified farming yield, diversified farming, which will yield stable, which will produce stable yields all year round. That is all year round harvest. And then it also assures access. That is local resources that are being used to cut costs and retain wealth in communities instead of relying on very expensive inorganic input into the system. And then utilization utilizes intercropping and promotes varied nutrient-dense diet. And then stability, thereby fostering resilient soils and diverse crops, buffer shocks and drought. The status and maturity. Let's look at the global evolution. Like Mary, the second to the last presenter who spoke on Pelham mentioned, East Africa leads the African continent in the production and export of certified organic products. And then the East African Organic Product Standards, like what you find here, which was co-developed by organic movements and national standard bodies. This is the world's second regional organic standard after the European Union. And it covers countries like Burundi, Kenya, Rwanda, Tanzania, and Uganda. So arising from the question that one of the participants asked about how we can cascade this to other parts of Africa, including West Africa, please, we need to get this also in other parts of Africa. And I hope that the expertise in East Africa will help us to step down this important work to other parts of Africa, especially West Africa. In Europe, organic production, labeling, and controls are regulated at the European Union level since 1991. And the current framework, which is regulation EU 218848, is a single legally binding definition of organic across all member states. Of course, in their definition too, they put the issue of GMO there. And then strong rules on traceability, animal welfare, and a ban on the GMOs, like I said, in the European standard. In America, America is the fastest growing sector of US agriculture, with over 76 billion US dollars in annual sales of organic agricultural products, over 76 billion US dollars. And it has been practiced since the late 1940s. The National Organic Program governs standards since the 1990s Organic Foods Production Act. There was an Organic Production Act that was developed in 1990. And there are over 40 certifying bodies. Both domestic supply still trails consumer demand. So the takeaway message here is that Africa is now at the forefront of regional organic standards. And the task now is to harmonize and scale it across the continent, the way Europe and US have within their markets. Opportunities, challenges, and the policy response. Opportunities. So we need to the organic standard directly advances the Sustainable Development Goals. Example, Sustainable Development Goal 2, which is about zero hunger. And then Sustainable Development Goal 3, which is good health. And then 13, which is climate action. And then 15, life on land. And also added Sustainable Development Goal 14, which is life below water. Because when fertilizers are applied, particularly under high intensive agriculture, and then particularly nitrogenous fertilizers that easily leach into groundwater, they will increase leaching and pollution of groundwater, and also lead to large, higher greenhouse gas emissions, which will result in increasing climate change. And then it also fosters a lower input cost and diversified harvest, which strengthen all the four pillars of food security, which we mentioned in the previous slide: food availability, access, utilization, and stability. And then rising global demand for safe. Globally, there is a rising demand for safe, chemical residue-free food, which creates a price premium for certified producers. Certified producers will normally sell at a higher price than those ones that are not certified. So it helps. But the challenges are the non-tariff barriers like the technical barriers to trade, and then the sanitary and phytosanitary measures, which you need tariff peaks and escalation. This continue to distort agro-food trade. And then there are limited farmer awareness, conservative practices, and financing gaps, which slow adoption. Mary did say that that this can be made sustainably and on a large scale. That this challenge should not make us not to go to advance the way we should with organic agriculture, because the possibilities are there. And then scaling agroecology requires sustained backing from policymakers and harmonized regulation. So in terms of policy response, already in motion, like Kenya, the Kenyan Agricultural Policy 2021, and the National Agroecology Strategy for Food System Transformation, and then the AU, the Comprehensive African Agricultural Development Program, and the Action Plan for Africa's Agri-Food Systems. All of these ones are policy responses that are already in motion to be implemented. Like Mary also said, the issue is not about having policy, but about implementing the policies. So we will ask those who are in authority to ensure that these policies are not only available, but that they are implemented. The role of standardization and the private sector. Standardization is the bridge to trusted trade. Like the last presenter said, international trade and regional trade. So the standardization is the key, is the bridge to that trusted trade. And then the African Organization for Standardization, Technical Committee 83, which I belong to, and then the conformity assessment. This TC 83 develops standards for organic agriculture and biotech, including terminology, good agricultural practice, requirements, sustainability criteria, and labeling. And the ARSO conformity assessment scheme K on ecological organic agriculture with the related standards, like all of these standards put here for organic fresh fruits and the vegetables, and then the organic honey, organic agriculture, organic dairy production on pasture, and several other standards that are being developed. They underpin certification. When these standards are available, it underpins certification. And then in terms of the private sector and the civil society, you have the Global Civil Society for Organic Agriculture, IFOM, and then which sets the global benchmark via the IFOM family of standards. It has global family of standards. And then I think one of our colleagues has spoken about the Kenyan Organic Agriculture Network, and then PELUM, which Mary also spoke about, as well as the BioVision Africa Trust, which works with the private sector, civil society to establish, harmonize, and standardize ecological and organic agriculture in Africa. And then the NAGOMO, which is the National Organic Agri Movement of Uganda, and this is that of Tanzania, TWAM, etc. All of these drive farmer training, certification access, and market linkages across Eastern Africa. And then internationally, IFOM, Organics, Europe, and then the NSAC, that is the National Sustainable Agriculture Coalition, and the Organic Farmers Association show what the mature private sector advocacy delivers for producers. Then the call to action is that government, standardization bodies, and the private sector must work together. They must collaborate to harmonize standards and the scale certification, harmonize the standards and scale certification, thereby turning Africa's agroecological potential into trusted trade and sustainable food security. Thank you very much for your attention. I look forward to answering the questions.
Thank you very much, Professor Upi. And you have a great presentation. Allow me to ask you from one question. From all presentations, why is therefore intensified global agroecological revolution, and what should be the role of government, private sector, and why the standards and certification remain key in this?
Okay, thank you very much. Please, may you repeat the question again, please?
Okay, sure.
Hello?
Yes, sure. I will repeat the question. Why is therefore an intensified global agroecological revolution, and what should be the role of government, private sector, and why the standards and certification remain key in this?
Okay, thank you very much, Mai, the moderator, for this question. This revolution is driven by the need for a sustainable, eco-friendly agricultural practices that eliminate reliance on heavy chemical inputs while enhancing climate resilience and optimizing the productivity and health of the interdependent communities of soil, plant, animal, and humans. All of these are interdependent. And therefore, the global agroecological organic agriculture revolution seeks to transform agro-food systems through reliance on natural processes, biodiversity, and then indigenous knowledge rather than synthetic agro inputs. So that is what is expected. And then in terms of the role of government and the standardization bodies and private sector role is, well, we need a collaborative framework. A collaborative framework is required between the government, standardization bodies, and private sector to ensure safe and high quality products growth. On the part of the government needs to establish the legal frameworks, enforce consumer protection laws, and the safety regulations mandating compliance. Government should also lead by example. They should lead the charge by example. Example, in public procurement, government should only patronize those products that are certified for public goods and then for public use. And also they should undertake market surveillance to audit compliance and push penalties for non-compliance to ensure that no substandard goods are sold to the public. That is on the part of the government. Now, we go to the part of standardization bodies. On the part of the standardization bodies, this is what we also expect them to do on the part of standardization bodies. They should provide, the standardization bodies provide technical benchmarks for product standards. And then standard bodies should provide unambiguous, that is very clear, consensus review specifications. Example, through the ARSO for product design or regional product design, material use, and production, and harmonize with global standards. Example, national or regional standards should be aligned with international protocols to eliminate technical barriers to trade. And constantly, too, the standard body should carry out education and outreach to enable industries and stakeholders appreciate the critical importance of standardization and continuous quality improvement, because it will never be, it will continually improve over time. For the private sector, we need the private sector needs to implement these standard practices and requirements in manufacturing, in their daily work. The private sector should also ensure that the components and raw materials that are supplied by vendors meet established industry standards, and that the final products from their industries also meet the required standards that is acceptable by the consumers. Hello?
Thank you very much. Thank you for the great presentation, giving the global perspective, Africa, Europe, and America. And allow me to go to the questions and answer chat box. Thank you very much, Professor Ubi. From the chat box questions, Mary, this is for Mrs. Mary. Would you grade that rather than the mounting pressure from industrial agriculture to overturn interest in the agroecologically through issues of certification and phytosanitary controls, and also that initiatives fronted by women's efforts are downplayed by policy? This is one of the advertisers affecting promotion of agroecology?
Sorry, I didn't get the whole of the question. If you can kindly repeat, I didn't get it clearly, but I got some aspect of industrial agriculture certification. Still not very clear to me. If you can please repeat.
Okay, I will repeat this question. Would you agree that rather than the mounting pressures from industrial agriculture to overturn interest in agroecological through issues of certification and phytosanitary controls, and also that initiatives fronted by women's efforts are downplayed by policy? This is one of the adversaries of affecting promotion of agroecological.
Okay.
These questions from the chat box.
Yeah. Let me start with the last question. If the policies are or women initiative are being downplayed by the policies, I'll say no. The policies that are within East African region, there's the agroecology policy in Kenya, organic policy in Uganda, ecological organic agriculture strategy in Tanzania. They are all supportive of women. They have showcased the aspect of inclusivity and the role that can be played by women, especially in upscaling agroecology. The other question on that the industrial agriculture sector mounting pressure in the control, though the question is not very clear to me, but I would say that there is a lot of pressure that is there to move away from industrial agriculture to a more sustainable form of agriculture. Because in long last, we need to check the sustainability aspect. Are we able to feed Africa today and feed it tomorrow? So the aspect of sustainability comes in. And I'll turn that question to that there is mounting pressure to move away from industrial agriculture to a more sustainable form of agriculture, which is agroecology. Back to you, Mai.
Thank you very much. And I have questions for Professor Eustace. They say that the challenge for Africa is no longer just about producing differently. The challenge is to build a continental ecosystem where standardization, traceability, public policies, and markets work together to make agroecology a viable choice for producers and consumers. Are we ready to take on this challenge together? Question is for Professor Eustace. Okay, I think he is not with us now. So I have a question for Peter. Mr. Peter, agroecological action making Mr. Peter?
My Estash, Professor Estash is there. Is
Okay,
there.
Dr. Eustace, are you with us?
Yes, I'm back. Maybe you can repeat the question.
Okay. Okay, I will repeat it. Now, this is from the chat box. That the challenge for Africa is no longer just about producing the differently. Challenge is to build a continental ecosystem where standard certification, traceability, public policies, and markets work together to make agroecology a viable choice for producers and a guarantee of trust for consumers. Are we ready to take challenge together?
Yes, we are. On one side, on the consumer side, there's a lot of growing interest of these organic and agroecology products. Farmers, on the other end, are willing, and there are a lot of push to transition to agroecology. So yes, it's now time that we work together to ensure that products flow and that consumers on the end are aware that these products are available and have a way of differentiating them at the marketplace and working with the consumers to ensure that they follow the standards, building their capacity to understand the standard requirements and comply to the standards, and also working with governments and extension officers to understand, because again, most of the government extension officers, we talk about agroecology or organic, not many of them understand what the standards requirements are and what the farmers need to do to ensure that they comply to the standards. So it's time that we all work together to ensure that we get these products and that the standards are also implemented. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And now we have one more question, and this will go with Mr. Peter. And he's agroecological production is making progress in several standards and markets that will make this transition sustainable, economically viable.
You are not audible, unless it's my side.
Also from my side, I can't hear. I thought the network issue was coming from my
Sorry,
side.
the net is not acceptable. I'm very okay. Okay, and now we will move to we have one question for Mr. Peter. Could you? Hello.
No, mine, it's still not clear.
Okay. Let me repeat the questions. Sorry for that. The question is says that agroecological production is making progresses in several African countries, but are we building with the same ambition, the governance frameworks, standards, and markets that will make this transition sustainable and economically viable?
Thank you, Mai. And as you mentioned rightly, that there is not going on in the continent with regards to agroecological advancement and organic agriculture as well. Much as these fragmented development initiatives, uh, at the African level, through the African Organization of Standardization, we are trying to ensure that there is harmonization and joint development of standards, be it at the international level or at the continental level. So I believe that with that consistency, with the development of these standards and publication and then implementation of these standards through conformity assessment, then we'll be able to scale up the implementation of agroecology and organic agriculture. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And as we come to the end of the today's webinar, I would like to invite each panelist to share a 1-minute takeaway message from today's discussion. And we will start with Mr. Peter.
Thank you very much, Mike. And as a key takeaway, I believe that quality has no state of origin. So in that case, it means that once we work together, be it continentally, internationally, we'll be able to build a comprehensive system that is able to scale up and to enhance this sector of the country. Thank you.
Dr. Maisa?
I am very happy to collaborate in this webinar, and I wish to make one regulation for America, for Africa, as African Union make this point, and one regulation for all countries as harmonized with European community to make the facilitate to export and import of organic product in all countries in Africa. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Mary?
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity. I'd like to emphasize on the aspect of implementation of policies, and this calls not only cross-sectoral collaboration that is departmental within the government, but these should be a multi-sectoral approach, multi-sectoral collaboration. We need to break the silos and work together at the local level, national, regional, and continental level. We need to come together and address the challenges that are within our food systems. Thank you very much.
Mr. Eustace?
Thank you very much for the opportunity and for sharing. My takeaway is that we need to strengthen our regional coordination and collaboration. What is happening in East Africa and the other parts of Africa, I think they need more coordination in terms of and collaboration in terms of ensuring that we move at the same pace with the different countries. The other one is that governments, there's a momentum or movement towards governments developing policies. I'm yet to see any that has, at least in East Africa, that has allocated funding or government financial support from government in the implementation. So we need to enhance government's commitment in the agroecology by providing financial support. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Professor Benjamin?
Thank you very much, my and colleagues, for this the knowledge exchange to this webinar. And I wish to, in a special way, appreciate ARSO Secretariat for coordinating these activities. And I wish to urge them, like from what is being said here, to continue the work coordinating the activities and ensure that these activities are upscaled, and to also deriving from what is happening in East Africa, that it should also cascade to other parts of Africa so that we can have unit standards, harmonized standards, and then move through certification, because standards and certification are strategic as they eliminate the market ambiguity, the barriers to trade, and then facilitate global trade, and then build consumer trust for safe and healthy foods. Therefore, this work should please be intensified so that we can get to where our objectives or our goals are. And like the last speaker said, we also need funding to be able to implement this. A policy without funding is not a good policy. Therefore, we need to drive these policies through their implementation by sustaining the funding and activity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you all for being with us today and for your active participation throughout this webinar. And now I would like to hand over to Mr. Philip. Thank you very much, Mr. Philip.
Thank you.
Thank you. It is the Secretary General.
I am not Philip. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Mari, for the good moderation. Congratulations, and congratulations for our panelists. Before we close, I would like to request my brother, Dr. Khaled, to say a few words for closing remarks. Khaled?
Yes, I'm now unmuted. Thank you, dear brother. Really, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to ARSO. You are doing a great job. And our esteemed speakers, very professional. What I saw on the presentations and on the talk is very professional. And your insights were very valuable. And also all participants on their engagement. So today discussion highlights the important role of agroecological and organic agriculture in promoting food security, environmental sustainability, and the climate resilience, as well as the contribution of standards and conformity assessment in supporting this sector. So for EOS, it has been our privilege also to co-host this webinar with ARSO and to contribute in this important dialogue. And we remain committed to supporting initiatives and promote quality infrastructure, standardization, conformity assessment, and sustainable development across Africa, because Africa deserves to be in the forefront. We hope the ideas exchanged today will encourage greater collaboration and further effort to strengthen sustainable agri-system across Africa. Thank you once again. Thank you, Dr. Harbujin. Thank you, Philippe. Thank you, Mai. And thank you all for all the participants and all the contributors from everywhere. And have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Khaled. I would like to say that all of us, let's think about why do we have this topic today? And when you look at the participant, the question still is, if we have the organic standard for Africa, the ARS standard that we have, at least on the guide for good practice and so on, which is a standard that already we have ARS 751 of Code of Practice. And we have also other standard that Peter has shown that you will receive all the presentation. But what is the benefit? One of the participants called Roland, I think from Congo Brazzaville, was asking, the farmers who are practicing organic farming or agroecological, which is actually different. They are not the same as you heard from our expert. But are they getting the real money? Because that's what we should think of. Yeah. They are getting the money. They are because the competition outside there for other practices are there. But how can we dictate the price? How can we dictate the price if you are in organic farming, if you are in agroecological? If you look at 10 countries that are selling organic produces, there is no African country, at the global level that's our high level, the first being United States, then we have France, Japan, and so on. But we are the ones who are selling those organic products. Let's start thinking, how can we dictate the price at the end of the day? Then our farmers can get money and get rich. That's what we need to see. That's the benefits on implementing all this standard. Otherwise, I thank you very much. Let's continue thinking. We had good presentation on strategies, on policies, on standards, and I look forward that we can continue even the discussions on X, on LinkedIn, and other platform. I would like to take this opportunity to thank AOS and the CEO, Dr. Khaled, for agreeing to co-host this ARSO webinar, 67th ARSO webinar with us, and all the support you continue to give to this potent organization. I thank Mai for good moderation. I thank all the panelists. But if we are here without participants, we can be talking to ourselves. I thank all the participants that show up every month to follow these important discussions. Thank you all. If you can put on your cameras and smile for a group photo, a virtual group photo. Please put on, then Dan can take a nice group virtual photo. Thank you all. Dan, tell us if you have done it. I see those who haven't put on the cameras. Please do so. Actually, you have good smiles. It's wonderful. Dan, are you done? Dan, tell us if you are done.
Thank you very much, Chair. We've finalized. I'm done. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Looking forward seeing you next month for our webinar, which will be the 68th webinar, and we will communicate as we normally communicate to all of you. Thank you very much. See you next time. Bye.